Okay, I'm here for an update. I told y'all about these artists, and last week, look what just happened. Today we're talking about two artists and two really amazing big moves. Listen, if you've been watching this channel or following the Glory Collective on Patreon, then you already know I've been talking about Lindsay Adams and Agada for a while now. You know that I've publicly championed them. And I just want to say, the championing is not happening in a silo. I've been in conversation with folks that really keyed into me about these two artists. So let me start by saying these artists have amazing support, and that's key, from collectors to galleries to universities to media and to folks like myself. But they have done amazing work at placing themselves in a position to be championed. And if you take anything away from this, collectors, I want you to take that away. Artists that place themselves in a position to be championed, continue to follow them. Artists, place yourself in a position to be championed. Now, last week, Lindsay Adams announced co-representation with Sean Kelly Gallery and Patron Gallery on the same day. Actually, in a shared post, I think. I could be wrong. And Agada was just announced as part of a group exhibition opening June 25th at Gagosian, New York. And today, I don't want to pass that without like an emphasis, okay? Because that's really huge, all right? So today, we're breaking down both Lindsay's and Luke's trajectories through a cultural, institutional, and a market lens. And I'll be asking the same question throughout the video. What does this artist's trajectory tell us about where they're going? And how can you learn to see it before it happens with other artists? This is understanding strategy in real time. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, okay? I need you guys to go ahead and hit the subscribe button and like the video. And make sure you drop a comment at any point if something resonates with you. All of that engagement, all of that support really does a lot for YouTube and wanting to continue to push and share the video. So I really appreciate you guys. Hit subscribe, hit like, share. I also want to hear in the comments who you're watching, because we're a community, right? Like, you guys tell me who to look out for, I tell you who to look out for, and when you tell me, I might dive a little bit deeper, spend a few hours on that artist. Tell me who you're paying attention to, who you're learning from, and who's clicking for you today. Okay, so let's start with Lindsay Adams. Lindsay is one of those artists that's actively creating a blueprint. She's doing very quiet work, very intentional work, clear moves, intentional alignment. And for her, it's not about being everywhere. It's about being placed and positioned very well. If you're not already doing this, before we even keep going, do yourself a favor and follow Lindsay on Instagram so you can get all of her updates in real time. Support with your attention, share her work. That's how we shift visibility. That's how we continue visibility. So let's talk about Lindsay, okay? She's a painter whose work lives in that space between a soft, gestural, intuitive nature and this certainty in her surfaces. Her work feels really gentle, but they're also very weighted. And she paints with memory and history and Black interiority in mind, with clarity and care. And if you want to hear more about how I think about her work, then click this video above, because I really dug deep into Lindsay's practice, kind of giving a more flowery view on her work. Anyway, I've had the pleasure of meeting Lindsay and having in-depth conversations with her. And I just want to say, I think she's brilliant. And let me just say this, seeing this moment happen for her, and just like all of these moments, it's really exciting. I think, if you've been following this channel, following me on Instagram, whatever, we've watched her build, we've watched her think, we've watched her move. And I think we all know that she's been moving with a lot of intention. And I think as a community, right? And I know so many people who want to see Lindsay, the person, the artist, succeed and win. And that's a constant reminder that we need advocacy. Now, her announcement this week was major. Co-representation by Sean Kelly in Patron Gallery. It's a huge signal, okay? A different level of a signal. But if you've kept up, she's been giving us signals of growth throughout her career, and she always moves on that signal. She always moves on that growth. So I want to talk about the galleries for a second, okay? Sean Kelly Gallery, institutionally respected, refined, a gallery that builds legacy. And Sean Kelly Gallery has 2 locations, one in New York and one in Los Angeles. Now, that's really big for her, right? Because now she has the opportunity of being positioned in New York, in Los Angeles, through representation, through Sean Kelly. The gallery has established itself as a leading gallery for contemporary art, known for its intellectually driven and unconventional exhibitions. And they represent some notable artists here. Folks like Kehinde Wale. One thing that has really stood out about this gallery and that folks have even mentioned to me, the spaces are huge, okay? The New York location, located on 10th Avenue, 22,000 square foot. And it was designed by the architect Toshiko Mori. That alone, it being designed by a specific architect, them not just going into space, I pay attention to things like that because that also makes us understand the intention of the space. And for Lindsay to align with a gallery that has intention in their space, that alone is a signal for me, right? I say this because I need us to pay attention to all of these different signals. The Los Angeles location opened a 10,000 square foot space designed by the same architect. It was opened in 2021. And when we start to get into Patron Gallery, I would say, and I think many people would say, it's an emerging powerhouse with curatorial momentum and market credibility, okay? Curatorial momentum and market credibility is really important. And when when a gallery is leaning into curatorial momentum, that means they're open to bringing new voices, but not just new voices, new audiences into the space. So I can appreciate that about this gallery. So Patron Gallery was established in 2015 by Julia Fishback and Emmanuel Aguilar. And it's a contemporary art space committed to collaboration and community engagement. And I personally think that really lends towards Lindsay. They're also based in Chicago. So let me put that into perspective. She has this home base in Chicago, but then she also has representation in Los Angeles and representation in New York. Okay, that's really big. Okay, she's able to spread her wings across all these locations through her representation. Now, Patron represents and works with folks like Bethany Collins and Jamal Cyrus. And to see both of these galleries make this move together says a lot about how Lindsay's career is being framed. Okay, and for artists watching, this is a reminder that you don't always have to choose one lane. Sometimes the most powerful careers are built through shared stewardship, where each partner uplifts a different part of your practice. And I beg of you to keep that in mind. Okay, everyone's not going to understand your full practice. It's really important to have a team, and I think that's what's happening here. She has a team of folks that understand different layers of her in different parts of her practice. And that's really, really important. For collectors, this kind of co-representation often signals confidence, okay? It means more than one serious player sees the long game. It means there's infrastructure around the artist. And it also shows Lindsay's professionalism and likely how great she is to work with. Just spending the little time I've spent with her, I can already see it. I see the way that she carries, and I see the way that she shows up, and that is one of the most important things you can do. Work well with others. She's created space for this. She's created space for it. And that is one of the most important things an artist could do, is hold space for intentional collaboration. So if you watched the video where I talked a little bit about Lindsay, we know that she holds a BA in International Studies in Spanish, and that's expansive in itself, right? And she also just completed her MFA at the School of Art Institute in Chicago. She's shown at the Baltimore Museum of Art. She's shown at James Cohen and also various small fairs, just to kind of throw them in there because I really like various small fairs. She's also a Helen Frankenthaler Foundation Award recipient. And I think it's important to mention this. Her work is also shown, at the Art Basels, but in particular, Art Basel Switzerland. And if you've seen my video over Rick Lowe, where I kind of dove into the foundation and the importance of Switzerland, even with that little information, that's another signal. And what I'm trying to do here is just kind of create this space for you guys to recognize the signals that I recognize. So when you're looking at an artist or when you're building your career, you can kind of understand trajectories. Anyway, I gotta say, Lindsay's someone who's built a foundation and is now stepping into market acceleration. And it's not really a but, it's really more of an and. Okay, so she's stepping into market acceleration and she's smart about it. Oh, and I cannot talk about her in this moment because this is a new update from the last time I talked about her. She's been commissioned by the Obama Foundation for the forthcoming Obama Presidential Center in Chicago. And that happened this year, 2025. She was selected to contribute a site-specific work titled Weary Blues. And this work was inspired by Langston Hughes' iconic poem, okay? And the original work is a 24 by 24 inch oil painting that was created in 2024. And the work is a meditation on resilience, on beauty, and the power of abstract forms. And the piece will be translated into silkscreen panels, which I think is really amazing. I think it's gonna be, beautiful. It's gonna be translated into silkscreen panels on fabric and installed in the Center's Cafe, creating this community space for reflection and rest. And I'm really happy to see her go into public work. I'm also really happy to see her now playing with this materiality and transforming her work from on canvas to silkscreen. I think that's gonna be absolutely gorgeous and I cannot wait to see it. So Lindsay's gonna be alongside a really distinguished group of artists, including Spencer Finch, Julie Meritu, Richard Hunt, and Maya Lin. And they're all contributing to the center's commitment to blending art and history and doing that with civic inspiration. And for Lindsay, this collaboration is more than a prestigious commission. It's really a nod to her ability to create work that resonates on both personal and collective levels. And it's really, I would say, underscoring her growing influence in art and her capacity to engage with these themes in public space. And if you know anything about public art, I've worked on a few public art projects. That's, first of all, it's a lot of red tape. So that is also giving her another layer of understanding how to engage in public art projects, which is a completely different practice. It's another part of her practice, but it's a completely different layer that involves something totally different than creating in your studio and then bringing the works to gallery. Bringing works to public space is a completely different monster, okay? Trust me. So I'm really happy to see her being able to step into this realm of public work. Guys, I want y'all to comment below. Did y'all know anything about Lindsay Adams' collaboration with the Obama Foundation Center? And what do y'all think about that? What are your thoughts? I mean, we can't have anything but positive thoughts, I would think, from that. But what are your thoughts? I mean, are you guys excited to do that? Is anyone living in Chicago and going to be able to see this in real time? It's such a significant moment, for this cultural institution. Also, I don't want to overlook that Lindsay Adams is currently in residence at Silver Arts Project in the World Trade Center in New York. Okay. Now, Silver Arts Project is a highly competitive, socially engaged residency that places artists in a context or in a dynamic urban context. And she's literally at the center of global finance and visibility. Lindsay's presence there signals artistic growth, but also proximity to major collectors, to public arts leaders, and these cross-disciplinary thinkers, right? For artists watching, this is how you build slow but smart. And for collectors, this is how you know she's not just making work. She's being given space. She's being given resources and You know what? Let me back up. She's being trusted with space and resources and institutional trust to expand. And I had to shift my understanding on this. When I first got into the art world, I was like, man, artists always have their hands out. And I think a lot of times that's true. It's like, I think, at some point in your career, you got to grind and be able to just get it. But when people give you resources as an artist, it signals to the rest of the art world that people trust you with space and trust you with resources to grow. It's not that they're giving them to you because they feel bad for you. It's not that they're just trying to create space for artists to be able to create. I think that's the thing too. But things like Silver Arts Project, that's a signal that they trust you with their resources, because trust and believe, the money that and the resources and the space, it ain't coming from nowhere, okay? These people are getting these resources from people they trust, so they needed to pass it to other people they trust. And that says a lot for artists when they're selected for residencies like the Silver Arts Project. So I can't move on without saying, artists and collectors, inside the Patreon, I'll be doing a full CV breakdown of Lindsay this week. We're going to look at her education, her shows, her grants, and how each phase of her journey has opened the next. Yes, Lindsay, you're a case study for me right now. I'm sorry, girl. I know that's it's a little cringe, when you like talk to people kind of often. It's a bit cringe to like use them as a case study, but I'm using you as a case study because I think your career, Lindsay's career, up until this point should absolutely be studied. And it's still early enough that artists and collectors can understand it, but also jump on board, okay? If you love her work, if you resonate with her work, support her. She's doing amazing. So if you're trying to understand how momentum builds in a career and how collectors can read that momentum early, this is gonna help in the Glory Collective and Patreon. This is how we learn how to read a career flow and how we build. So join us inside the Glory Collective. The link is in the description. And again, if this is helping you think differently and understand career trajectories a little bit more, or learn more even about Lindsay Adams, go ahead and like the video, subscribe. That does a lot for the channel. If you want to go a little bit further, now if you want to support a little bit further, join the Patreon or look below and there's a little super thanks button. If all of y'all sent me $1, we'd be good. So, do whatever you can to support is what I'm saying. Share, comment, like, super thanks, Patreon, okay? So now it's time to talk about Luke Agada. I had the pleasure of meeting Luke in Chicago through a buddy of mine, and at an event that Kendra Walker put on in Chicago. And then Luke Agada has been another artist that I've championed publicly for a while now, and you can watch the video above if you want to dig a little bit more into his practice and understand his practice a little bit more. Anyway, he's someone I've also had the privilege of speaking with directly over the years, and his paintings are architecturally fluid, they're emotional, they're chaotic, but they're composed, okay? You can feel the pressure of memory and structure colliding in all of his compositions. He blends form and movement and memory and cultural tension in a way that's hard to look away from. Luke was born in Lagos, Nigeria, and he now lives and works in Chicago. And it's just something about Chicago. It's something about Houston too. We're gonna always put on for Houston because Houston is doing amazing things. By the way, side notes, I want you guys to put on your calendar that Untitled Art is coming to Houston in September, and I want y'all to also keep in mind I'll be doing some live events, okay? Keep that in mind, keep it in mind. Join my newsletter to keep up with that, and also follow me on Instagram to keep up with that. Both links are in the description. I'll be announcing what will be happening, those dates, etc., etc. Anyway, Chicago's a really special place for me. It's a place where I go when I want it to refresh on art. It's New York as well, of course, but Chicago is just special. And people that come from Chicago, it really is a place that pushes out a lot of talent. So the duality of living in Lagos and in Chicago and giving him this global experience lives in his work. And you can feel the pressure of memory and structure colliding within that. And he earned his MFA in painting and drawing at from the School of Art Institute of Chicago, one of the top programs in the country. But get this, before that, he earned a doctor of veterinary medicine in Nigeria. So his path wasn't always conventional like Lindsay's, but this shows the type of range in intellect that he has, okay? Understanding systems, anatomy, logic, and now he uses those same instincts to build paintings that feel visceral and really precise. Now, folks that have recognized his talent and vision are folks like Roberts Project, who announced their representation of Agada in association with Monique Meloche Gallery, a gallery who I deeply respect. I mean, they have some of the greatest talent I've seen. I mean, look, if you don't know Monique Meloche, go and just type them in Google, look them up, look at the artists on their roster, and you'll understand what I'm saying. They have a really good eye. They have really good institutional respect. Just pushing talent to the next level is what they do best. It's really amazing. And this partnership between Roberts Project, and Roberts Project I'm a fan of as well. This partnership between Roberts Project and Monique Meloche, this partnership signals a collaborative effort to further his career and expand the reach within the contemporary art scene. And really similar to Lindsay, having two folks on different sides of the world. Roberts Project is in Los Angeles, Monique Meloche is in Chicago, giving him this perspective in both of these places, giving him this representation in both of these places is really, really important. And these are two heavy-hitting galleries that know how to grow careers carefully. Luke is not being rushed, okay? He's positioning and repositioning over and over and over in a very intentional way, in a very smart way. This month, Luke was announced in Ever So Present 2, which is a group exhibition at Gagosian, New York. And it's opening on June 25th. So make sure you guys lock that in your calendar and don't forget about it. He's showing alongside folks like Amawaka Boafo. And it's curated by, and I really hope, and I've met Brees, and I hope it's Brees and not Bryce. I've met him before, him and his wife, Noelle. Brees Arsene Yonko. That's who it's curated by. I hope I said your name right. Please hit me if I didn't. Teach me. I looked all over the internet, videos, tried to understand how to say your name, but I didn't know. Okay, so forgive me. Anyway, respect to him. He's a Cameroonian art dealer and independent curator recognized for his contributions to contemporary African art. And he co-founded an Atlanta-based advisory firm specializing in contemporary African art and artist management. And in 2023, Yonko and his partner Noelle expanded their vision by establishing their gallery to Cameroon. And the gallery aims to promise contemporary African artists and foster cross-cultural dialogues between Africa and its diaspora, okay? And if you've been here long enough, you might remember that I did a full breakdown of Amawaka Boafo a few years ago that still holds, that allowed me, that video, these videos really sometimes allow me to meet the artists that I'm talking about before I meet them, and it's beautiful. That video allowed me the absolute pleasure of, through my girl, Nyla, be able to meet Amawaka Boafo and actually Larry Osei-Mensah in that same weekend. So a moment of gratitude to y'all for watching, because these videos find their way to the folks that I'm talking about. Anyway, that episode is still up if you want to go watch it, but it's proof that when we're studying the moves in the market that the artists are making, they hold. You start to see the wave before it crests, and you start to see who's going to hold and who's not. So back to Agada. Agada's inclusion in this show places him in dialogue with artists that's exploring Blackness and diaspora and post-colonial identity across media and globally. But it also signals something a lot bigger. I want you all to understand how incredibly monumental this is. Gagosian is one of the most prestigious galleries in contemporary art, okay? And being featured in a group show there places Agada among a select group of artists gaining this intentional recognition and support. This is rare. This is not a thing that happens for everyone. This is really rare. And it's a moment to take a step back, look at Luke, and say, where is he going next? I bet he's going somewhere amazing, because the way that they're positioning him, I mean, they're using his work to lead the conversation. That means there's already interest. That means there's already confidence. And wow, to be able to watch it right now, to be able to watch it before it even got here. Wow. You know, it's really rare, and it's really amazing that this is happening, and his work is really paying off. It's telling us that he's in some of the most important curatorial conversations. He's on Gagosian's radar, and he's in their room, and he's positioned in a framework of global relevance. Luke was born in Lagos, Nigeria, and he does live in Chicago, and being able to expand globally and also through your gallery, man, it's a testament. His work is steadily entering into collector and institutional visibility. So I want you guys to comment below. Let me know in the comments if you've been keeping up with Luke since the first time we talked about him. And Luke, if you're watching this, I just want to say again, how proud I am. You've been consistent, you've been thoughtful, and this moment is well earned. Well earned. And for the rest of you guys, please go follow Luke Agada on Instagram. His work moves, his work is in motion, and I want you guys to see it in real time and keep up with the amazing things that he's doing in real time. So go ahead and follow him on Instagram. This isn't just about watching artists from afar, okay? Watching from a distance. We want to stay connected to the artist whose work speaks to us. We want to stay connected to the work and to the artists that we believe in. And if you're enjoying this breakdown, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more strategy-led art insights. And your subscribes and likes, like I said, they keep this channel going. But more than anything, joining the Patreon does. And I want you to remember, you get deeper and exclusive videos there. And I want you guys to remember, we're going over Lindsay's CV last week. And I need to say this. The Patreon gives me the space to go deeper, but it also gives me the space to financially continue doing this channel. So make sure you consider it, okay? If you're really loving this channel, please consider the Patreon. So what do we take away from these two artists, Lindsay and Luke? And what can you actually do with this information? If you're a collector, I want you to use this as a moment to study gallery alignment, Sean Kelly plus Patron. For Lindsay, this isn't just a market win, okay? This is the framework for her. This is infrastructure. It tells you where her work is going and who is investing in her and what kind of institutions are likely to follow. Now, what collectors should take away from Luke Agada's inclusion in Gagosian? Number one, he's being introduced into a completely different market right now. He's being positioned in front of a completely different market right now. Luke's inclusion in Ever So Present 2 isn't about introducing a new name. It's about placing him in critical context. And he's shown alongside artists like Amwaka Boafo, like we mentioned a little bit before, and also Emma Prempe. And not as a student or a derivative figure of these folks, but as a peer and also as a leader in the diasporic conversation. And that really, really matters. Collector insight, okay? This is a sign he's being positioned for long term. Collector insight for Lindsay. This is a sign that she's being positioned for long-term relevance. You're not early to Luke. I mean, honestly, for both of the artists, you are early, but I don't know. You know, you may be able to still get your hands on Lindsay's work. I think, you still will. For Luke, maybe. But when you get into that Gagosian network, your career starts being really tightened and really, really carefully tightened, okay? But you're right on time to continue following both of them. If you're an artist, think about timing and placement. Both Lindsay and Luke did not rush. They built, they stayed focused, and now they're being aligned with curators and collectors who move with so much depth. Every decision from education to group show tells a story about where they're headed. And within the current market sentiment leading towards abstraction and experimental abstraction, especially from artists of color and artists engaging with history and materiality, both Lindsay and Luke are part of this wave that's not only being watched, but it's not a wave. It's here to stay. Okay. It's positioned for institutional longevity is what I believe. So comment below, guys. What do you think is next for Lindsay and Luke? And what have you learned from their careers? Seriously, what have you learned from their careers? Inside Patron, we'll go a little bit deeper into the exact questioning using Lindsay's CV as a guide, as a working document. And we'll trace her flow from early group shows to institutional collections so you can better understand what the turning points were and why they matter. And this is why I love doing what I do, because it's not just about spotlighting the artist. It's about learning together how to get better at reading the signals. So whose career will you be following from this point? Is it Luke? Is it Lindsay? Is it both? Are you already following them? Let me know in the comments. But either way, follow them both on Instagram. Follow them on Artsy, Mutual Art, wherever you are. Follow them so you can keep up with their career. And again, join me inside the collective on Patreon if you want to go deeper. And listen, I know some of y'all have your notepads out right now because you've told me. And you come to these videos ready to learn, and I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me. So, y'all are the ones that need to be on a Patreon so you can get some deeper notes. And also, that's where I really engage with folks. Not to just keep pushing the Patreon on y'all, but look, listen, okay? Anyway, so if you're not following me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. I have some really cool events coming up, in-person engagements. And that's where the announcement is going to happen in real time because it's faster. I can get a post out a little bit faster on Instagram than I can here. I got to edit the video, all that extra stuff. So it takes a few days, before the videos come out here. So if you want to keep up in real time with what's going on, join me on Instagram. And that's at Mariah Elise Dear Glory. And as always, Dear Glory is here for you. It's your home. We're one step closer to glory every time we create and watch a new video and have these conversations. And, I hope this taught you something. Digging into these things, they teach me a lot. And when I learn, I come and I teach them to you in the best way that I possibly can from my perspective. And I appreciate you guys for appreciating my perspective. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, all the things. And I'll see you guys next time.